really are, but they didn't want that magnifying glass on them here.
Mm-hmm.
I was like you got some people that I'm a lesbian, but I'm not one at work.
Mm-hmm.
Even though you done been walking, in the Dyke March and everything.
Even though you just had a flag in your back pocket.
Even though you had a flag in your back pocket.
Even though you just had the rainbow belt.
Even though you had the rainbow belt with Rainbow Bright standing next to you.
Right.
But they don't want it's just like, people are not gonna go on television or a talk show because they don't want to expose themselves and make that verbal. Because then,
but I think you're already exposed. If you're out, then you're exposed.
Yeah, but it's a little different if you're on a platform and you're talking about being out. That makes sense?
I get it.
You get it? Got it? Good. Okay. So, misconceptions, stereotypes. I'm going to give you a few. About 26 of them.
Great. Somebody make me a sandwich.
No sandwich there. Okay. First things first.
Our Papa freaks all the honeys, dummies, Playboy bunnies. Those one. Sorry, y'all. I used to do that to the teachers in school.
First of all, first things first. Being bisexual is not just a phase. That's one misconception. Okay? And being bi doesn't mean that they're all indecisive or they're just indecisive. Got that? Doesn't mean they're confused either. Mm-hmm. That's another misconception. It doesn't mean they're just experimenting. They're not doing it for the attention either. Because to be honest, that's one of the ones that if you do like when they was talking about like case studies, or if they did like what do they call that? Census or surveys or whatever, bisexuality is one thing most people don't say.
Mm-hmm. Because
they get ridiculed for wanting both at the same time. It's not a requirement that they need to gain experience from both guys and girls before they decide they are bi. It's just like I know some people that are lesbian, but they hadn't tried anything with a woman yet, but they know they're lesbian.
Mm-hmm.
They just, I feel it, and you just haven't had an opportunity yet because, you're still a virgin in that area. Mm-hmm. But you're lesbian. It also doesn't mean that they have to have a boyfriend and a girlfriend at the same time.
At the same damn time.
At the same damn time. Doesn't mean they need that. Doesn't mean that at all. But we believe that it does. We're so trippy. We really are. Also, it does not necessarily mean they're attracted to both genders in equal measure. Mm-hmm. Did you know that, Cache?
No, finish explaining that because I'm listening.
Okay. Well, it says that, just because they like, male and female, it doesn't mean there's an equal measure of what they like between the two.
That's understandable because they're two different sexes.
Right.
Duh.
Duh. Exactly. And let me tell you what's so amazing. And I said "g" at the end like that. Because when you think about it, there is going to be something that you might not like. I know some of my bisexual female friends, they don't like when a man goes down on them.
You said a lot of men don't like when women go down on them.
No. I said a lot of my bisexual female friends don't like when a male goes down on them.
Why?
They just don't like it. They don't feel this. They don't like the feeling. They prefer a woman to do it. Yeah.
It's a lot with this. It really is.
It is. You didn't even know it was, did you?
Nope, because I can't judge because I've never been there.
Exactly.
So
even if you have been there, you still can't judge.
You can only just give your opinion about, what you're going to tolerate, what you ain't.
Exactly.
Man, that's crazy. Wow.
Yeah. So, it's a lot of layers to bisexuality,
mm-hmm.
but it's a lot of layers to everybody's sexuality. Everyone has a lot of layers.
You know who else has layers?
Oh, Lord Jesus. Who has layers?
Ogres have layers.
Ogres have layers. Like an onion?
Yeah.
Anyway, I was about to say what, an onion? Anyway, here's another misconception.
Cake.
Bi people aren't more likely to cheat on their significant others just because they get bored. So they're not most likely to cheat. If they cheat, it's because that's who they're
human beings.
It has nothing to do with their sexuality and
Right.
why they cheat. Please, please, people, get that in your head. A bisexual person is not more likely to cheat over someone that's straight or completely gay or lesbian. Please understand it, or transgender. Please, 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 please. Okay? Now, the other thing is that being attracted to both sexes doesn't mean that they have to have a crush on every single person that they meet. Agreed, right? Okay. Now, another misconception is just because they've only dated members of the opposite sex or are currently dating a member of the opposite sex, that doesn't make them straight either. They're still bisexual, but they just so happens that their experiences have been with the opposite sex just because of how life is. It's just sort of like a woman who's been with only studs for like 20 years and then eventually she end up with a film. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right. Just like dating a member of the same sex doesn't make them gay as well. So it flips both ways. So they're still bisexual. Okay. They're not biding time until they're ready to come out as gay or lesbian. They're not doing it to buy their time and say, okay, now it's time for me to say I am a lesbian. No, that's not what they're doing.
Right.
Nope. All right. With that being said, coming out as bi doesn't make attraction to the opposite sex a new thing for them either.
Okay.
That makes sense? Okay. And yes, they do still have to come out though. You have to let someone know.
Yeah, I told him like it's two people. So like be honest. You gotta you gotta be honest, because certain things you get you in trouble.
That's true.
And you don't want to hurt anybody or get hurt. You know what I mean?
True.
You gotta definitely be careful.
True.
So I just told my little cousin that, and then somebody else that's really close to me, I just let them know too all the time. You have to be careful. The other person, they had like a big scare. I'm not even gonna put them out there, but they just had like a really big scare, and it's still kind of a scare going on in a way. But the only thing I could tell them, repeatedly was just like I told you all the time, you have to be careful.
Right.
You have to be careful. They expected to, I guess, once dipping with a few guys, and then they had this one particular guy that they were comfortable with, and they were in a relationship with this person, off and on and stuff like that. And then next thing you know, it's just like you go to lay down with this person and you pop up with something.
Okay.
Which is not curable. And it's just really crazy, like, you know what I mean? I would just say, like, do what you do, like, no judgment here, but it's just like you gotta just definitely be careful.
Yeah, you definitely have to be honest about what you're into. Period. Point blank.
Yeah, because at some point they even they met a female recently.
Okay.
And they really liked her, and the guy that they were messing with wasn't even feeling all that. They just felt like, I understand we off and on,
right? But
how you just going do this to me? And he was like, well, I only planned on being with like you, as far as like, you know what I mean, like. And this person isn't claiming bisexual at all. They're not claiming it, but it's just on some like a closeted type of thing.
Okay.
So yeah, it's just crazy. They no longer talk to the girl, but I definitely told them, like, that's one of the craziest things that you could do to somebody. You know what I mean? Like be bisexual or just live, a secret double life.
Right.
and then somebody finds out. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know who's going to be more. I think women's going to take it more. Going to take it worse than men. Like if you come out to another guy and let them know like I'm bi, you know what I'm saying? Versus like if you come out to a girl and tell her that you're bi and you're a guy, they're going to take. I think they're going to take it like worse than a guy would take it. But I just always tell them like you gotta be careful with that type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's serious. It's dangerous.
It's very dangerous.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. Okay. So and then it also says that basically they just like I said, it doesn't make lives any easier because they can pass it straight. Because that's the thing that a lot of us gotta understand, that just because I come out as bisexual and I can quote unquote pass for straight, it doesn't make my life any easier. If I was bisexual, it actually opens up even more questions and more scrutiny. So the other thing too is bisexuality definitely does not equal promiscuity. And that's the thing that we have to understand. We cannot assume someone that's bisexual, and I keep saying this over and over again, just because they're bisexual does not mean they are promiscuous. It really doesn't. I mean, hell, you got a lot of people that are out there that's promiscuous, and they're straight heterosexual people. But why is it that bisexual people are given the raw end of this, and pardon the pun, but I think, guess what? I think it has a lot to do with the fact that they have the opportunity to be with one or the other or both if they feel like it, and that the fact that they like doing that. And I guess, once again, people get in their mind, oh, you can pick both. It's almost like saying, oh, if you're bisexual, that means you can have anybody you want. And that's not true. See, that's the difference. They can't have anybody they want, really. You know what I mean? It's not like, oh, when you're bisexual, that means now it's open for you to, everybody and their mama's going to want you now. So that's, I think people get that in their head. Oh, you have more options. No, your options probably just as limited as they were if you were straight or, or just all out gay or all out lesbian. Because your preference is going to be your preference.
Right.
Also, a lot of bisexual people are not into polyamorous relationships either. Because, you have some people that are in polyamorous relationships. You might have a woman who messes with two guys, but she doesn't mess with women at all. It's just them two guys. And they don't mess with each other. I know you're like, wow, right?
Yeah, it's making me sweat.
Oh, gosh. And it's also totally possible to be bisexual and an introvert. Doesn't mean if you're bisexual you're the life of the party.
You said just because you're bisexual doesn't
mean you're it's totally possible to be an introvert, meaning that you still reserved. You're not out there like that. You're not trying to be out trying to get the next person's boyfriend or girlfriend. You're pretty low key. That's what that is. Like, people think the person is bisexual, oh, they're gonna be all flirtatious and stuff, and that's not true. That's not true. Once again, if you're flirtatious regardless of what your sexual preference is. Please get that in your head, people. Okay. Also, bisexuality. A lot of them, if they are bisexual and admit it, they're not just jumping on a trendy bisexual bandwagon. Who wants to be on that wagon? Matter of fact, even if I was bisexual, I don't like wagons.
I don't like hay rides.
I don't like hay rides. It makes me sneeze.
I don't like
hey, it's for horses, So why would I want to get on a...
Hey, it's for... Never mind. Let's say something else.
Anyway, and they don't appreciate being asked who's better in bed, male or female. Who cares?
Right. Who's happy?
Who gives a rat turd? You know what I'm saying?
That's weird.
Yeah, but people ask that question. Oh, what do you prefer? Apparently neither one, because they're bisexual. If they're in a relationship with somebody because they prefer that particular person, not because of the sex that they had in between their legs. Get it? Got it? Good. All right. They don't like being told they will eventually pick a side, or they have to pick a side. They don't like that. You know, oh, you gotta pick one or the other. No, I don't, because whoever